Our second reader teaches adults and kids about the city and its architecture at the Chicago Architecture Foundation, where she writes, teaches, lectures, and designs programs. Several times a year, she gets to collaborate with the brainy folks at WBEZ's Curious City to sleuth and report on listener-submitted questions about Chicago's architectural history. When she's not writing the L and writing haiku that chronicle life in the city, she's plane spotting and dreaming of ways to use her passport. She'd like to hear about your favorite places for tacos. Please give a warm welcome to Jen Masengarb.
Hi, good evening. Wow, a new adventure tonight. So I ride the brown line and the red line most every day, and in the morning I have this habit of reading. But typically coming home from the loop in the evening, I tend to sort of either stare out the train window or observe people. I love to watch people, and I found myself wanting to sort of capture these beautiful little moments on the train of life that we sort of all observe. And so for the past 7 years, I've been doing this, trying to capture these in the form of haiku. So these are brief moments that we all witness, right? Humor and sadness and frustration and love and loss and absurdity, all inside this metal box that's hurtling through space 30 feet above ground or 30 feet below ground. So here's a collection of my favorite small, very human moments from the CTA about sort of people moments. He took train downtown just to deliver her keys, kiss through turnstile. Mom, young son, ride train, practice his spelling bee words. We silently cheer. I looked around the train and like everybody was like, come on, kid, come on, we can do it. And then we were like, oh. But so, you've had those experiences on the train as well, when you look around and you realize that nobody's saying anything, but everybody's thinking the same thing, right? Either you're so engrossed in what you're hearing, or you're wishing they would just shut up, right? So both of those moments. So here's a sort of a collection of some of those. Hushed, full Friday train. College girls loudly make plans. We cringe in silence. By phone on a train, seems she's breaking up with him. We fake ignorance. Non-stop work gossip. When she finally hangs up, whole train car exhales. He stuns train riders. Large, badass dude answers phone. Good morning, sweetie. What? I also especially love watching tourists. I love tourists, just like eavesdropping on them and watching them try to pretend to blend in to us, right? So here's sort of my favorite tourist moment. Tourists, you can't hide. Your bags betray you, 'cause we don't shop at Hershey's. And then there's those moments of those people that you see every day and there's sort of a routine and pattern, and you know what they look like and you know their habits, but you have no idea about their names or anything like that. You've never spoken. So I have sort of people that I observe on the train. Not a creepy stalker, but just observing. Commuter couple. Most mornings they laugh. Today, he won't look at her. We cross paths each day, smiles but no words exchanged, familiar strangers. Evening train is blur, 1,000 kitchen windows glow, glimpse of your home life. Yeah, through the back of the train, you see kitchen at night, yeah. And then there is sort of I tend to write about sort of the act of riding the train and the etiquette and the unspoken rules that are sort of between us. Here's a set sort of about that. Give up seat on train? Is he old? Is she pregnant? Don't want to be wrong. Crowded evening train. Empty seat while riders stand, always good reason. New trains hold more, but not designed for Chicago. in our puffy coats. People on platform means that some of the waiting has been done for me. Crowded morning train, dude, your elbows in my face. Hang on, play Twister. And so over the years, as I've sort of been writing, I've loved this sort of mental challenge of trying to capture a situation and that I witnessed and sort of package it into 17 syllables to share with someone who wasn't there, my friends, family. I don't play crossword puzzles or I don't do Sudoku, but I do like this sort of mental challenge of haiku writing. And there's another reason I found that haiku writing it lends itself well to commuting, because sometimes you're standing on the crowded train and you've got like one hand on the pole or the strap and you're crammed in and you don't want to get your phone out and you can't get a magazine out, but I can still work on this in my head and I can tap out syllables on my fingers as we ride. So here's another collection about winter, which is the season that I tend to write about the most, although I didn't really think about it until I started to curate and collect for tonight. So here's a bunch about winter. I recognize her, icy fingers on my neck. I'm back, she whispers. Mid-December rain. This is not Courier Ives. We await first snow. Sloppy, icy day tests figure skating skills on glazed donut sidewalks. Breath steams, branches creak, snow shines, crunches underfoot, magical walk home. And remember the polar vortex? Lots of good material there. Cold, but not alone. We are all separated by only 6 degrees. Yeah. We have become numb. No one bats frozen eyelash at -5. We keep our gloves on. No texting at 10 below. Eye contact returns. I remember this day on the platform, like it was so cold, nobody could get their phone out, and all of a sudden we are all looking at each other, and I thought, wow, I'm like looking at people for the first time in a while. A little bit about spring. Remember that super, super warm St. Patrick's Day that we had in 2012, and it was sort of out of the blue? We are suspicious. Weak winter, now early spring. Gift we did not earn. We've seen it each year, never fails to delight. Photosynthesis. God says, hey, great job! You've survived winter again! Magnolia trees bloom. And sort of those moments about life, sort of living in Chicago in general. We all have this. Some days I love the city, some days I just hate the city. But here are some sort of things maybe that you can experience, or you have experienced too, sort of as well. Life in the city. Sweetest city sound. Sweetest city sound. Awakened before alarm. Landlord snowblowing. Polish war hero frees Chicago kids from school. It's Pulaski Day. Coins, creepy basement, lint that's not mine. I'd like, please, machines just for me. Sunday evening walk, block by block, each own scent of fabric softener. Long summer evenings, slow pace, no gloves, ends with beer, 16-inch softball. At Millennium Park for a concert. First time symphony. High school kids behind me ask, is it like halftime? I was feeling frustrated one night coming home from my job. I have a great job, but we all have those days. Sort of lamenting the fact how much I had to do, how much work awaited me. And it was one of those early days when President Obama had been elected and was visiting Chicago. And I came around the curve on the brown line between Paulina and Addison. You can kind of see the expanse of the city spread out. And I spot his helicopters. And I'm feeling kind of sorry for myself, like, oh, rough day, rough day. And I spot his helicopters. Sunset train ride home. Marine One floats overhead. My job's not as hard. And this last one from the Sun on Chicago has been the most widely one shared on Tumblr, the blog where I keep them, which tells me I think I'm onto something. Cities aren't perfect, but tacos found anytime make up for a lot. And finally, in my quiet anti-Tinder dating world, I find myself dreaming a lot about my love life, or lack of a love life, on the train, and also wondering about the love lives of the people that I see. Here's several about love. Monday happiness. Cute Southport guy has options. Takes seat next to me. Glued to your iPhone, how can I smile at you if you won't look up? Post-Valentine's night, he carries flowers to woo, or perhaps repent. Someday we'll look back. We started wearing headphones. City flirting died. I'm losing hope that you're still scanning faces and looking for me too. Remember February 2011, we had snowpocalypse, right? And the warnings came, and lots of businesses in the loop especially sent their employees home early. The city said, go home early, the storm is coming. 3:30 in the afternoon, the train is packed coming from downtown. We're all bundled up, and I'm just this close to the most gorgeous looking man I've witnessed. And I wrote this one. Good God, you are hot. Only on train this crowded would we stand this close. And for about 8 months in 2012 and 2013, I stopped writing haiku altogether. I was diagnosed with mid-stage breast cancer the week of my birthday, which was also 6 months after my dad's terminal diagnosis for his own cancer. So a crappy time, an incredibly dark time. And as chemo treatments wore on and I got sicker and my brain and body got full of chemicals, I worked fewer days, which meant I also stopped commuting in regularly, and I also stopped riding the train because the doctor said, you have no resistance, I don't want you to ride on all the clouds and the germs. But I also had no brain space for creativity, just sort of survival. And healing and strength took a long time. So it was a very happy moment when I realized that one day that I wanted to write again. And haiku were sort of like a barometer as to how I was feeling. And they still are. And 8 months after my diagnosis, I finally wrote the next new haiku. And my friends and family noticed that something was different, that I was becoming whole again. And so here are 2 final ones from that time in life. 40 years today. Not just another birthday. I fought for this one. And finally, this one written in March 2013, which was after my first day back at work in more than 4 months, an exhausting but rewarding milestone. Late winter sunset, day not taken for granted, train carries me home. Thank you.